Live. Hi. Hello, beautiful souls. How are we tonight?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing good too. I just saw you.
Yes.
I just may
Yes.
have seen you in person and live. And we were recording our podcast today. And if you're new here, we have a podcast. This is what has inspired this segment, this online segment, but our podcast is called Erotic Spirit Podcast. We were off 4 episodes we batched in today for everyone. So excited about that, right?
I'm super excited. I'm still riding the high. A
I
lot of, a
know.
lot of energy that came in, a lot of awesomeness.
Yeah. So you guys will see that air not next week, but you'll start to see that air the next few weeks after that. So, but I would love to share with you as we get more people coming in who we are, who I am, who you are, and you want to share who you are?
My name is Angela Shelby. I am a channeler. I am an energy healer. I am a dream interpreter, and I am a podcaster. Unwilling podcaster at the beginning, but much better now. I'm truly honored to be doing what I'm doing. I help people find their own power and see their life from a broader perspective and from a place of hope and a place of peace, and help them understand things are not usually as dark as they think they are.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So it's about perception, right?
About
So,
perception.
yeah. And then my name is Jenna Lee, if you're new here, and I'm a channeler as well. And I work in the Kosh space as well. I do all sorts of things. What's come in recently has been this frequency architect. I move and understand the frequencies coming in, and I help stabilize that in body, mind, and nervous system. So I do that in a lot of different ways, and I host lots of fun retreats and workshops. So that is it, right? And there's so much more, but we just to kind of give everyone what to expect for today. If you are new here, we will be channeling in and talking about having conversations around sex, intimacy, pleasure, spiritual connection, boundaries, desire, all the things. This is a safe space, and we're creating a container for conversations to be had. It doesn't mean that my experience and knowledge or what comes in is right, but it's to open the curiosity and the invitation to all the things and start to think about what sexuality and spirituality and all those things mean for us, because everyone's individual.
Mhm. Yeah, everybody's different. And when we say we
Oh,
mean your spirit guides too, and ascended masters. And then there's a whole group of sexual teachers that are in my life for me, and they are helping with all of this stuff. And Jesus has come through a lot today. Archangel Michael is always around, and love him, and I'm so deeply grateful that he's around.
yeah. Oh,
But lots of people, if you're watching, your spirit guides have already touched base. This is a group event. This is something that we are all participating in together.
yeah, yeah. And feel free to drop in. Actually, before you drop in your questions, hit that like, hit that subscribe if you're not already. Share this out, show the love, guys. And feel free to let us know where you're coming in from, where you're tuning in from. I'm in Arizona. What? Desert life. Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, it's a good life, hey. And then if not, or if anything, drop in your questions. What do you have? What's on your heart? And there's no limits here. And as I see people kind of coming in here, I'd love to just the container has started this. When I say container, it's this co-creation. It is just not what I'm doing or Angela's doing. It is this co-creation with all of our energies, but grounding in safetyness, grounding in love, grounding in light. And as I say that, there are angelics moving in. I see the Elohim. I see them moving in, and if you're not familiar with the Elohim, to me, they have presented themselves. Again, it's all about how I perceive them, but for you may be different, as angelics, and beautiful angelics that help with our divine blueprint and I don't want to say recalibration, but remembrance of those codes, the blueprint that we came in with, our divine original space before all the things happen. So I see them coming in here, and there's just a message channeling in here. Just grounding and anchoring in love for all in unity. Our consciousness stepping into a space of desire and love, peace and acceptance, and all that is. Yeah. Beautiful. That's what I got. Do you have anything too, Angela?
Nope. Just the energy coming in. Holy criminy.
Yeah. They're coming in hot. I love it. I love it. So
very peaceful, very deep, very big, just mellow. It'll be an interesting night. Last night I felt like a fire hydrant that somebody had blown the lid off of, and it just it's nice, like very mellow, very calm. So I'm interested to see what's going to happen, what's coming through.
Yeah. Oh, and if you don't have any questions, or you want to in the future, drop into eroticspiritpodcast.com. There's a tab called Spirit Guides After Dark. You can ask an anonymous question, and we get to them on these segments, and we do these weekly. So just feel free to be curious today and listen, and try to have, step into that openness of your heart. So I have some questions queued up here, and we let the conversation flow as it flows, but I have a couple questions until we get some people that want to ask their own questions too.
Can I just pop in for a second, because they're coming through with a message. Let me see who they is. This is my teachers. So this is my teachers, and Jesus is at the forefront. He's coming in with them. So what they're talking about is grace and gratitude. And close my eyes and just see what they have to say. So we want you to understand that grace and gratitude are things that can be used with your sexuality as well as your everyday life. Grace and gratitude are thought of as spiritual qualities and spiritual examples. We would like you to extend those examples into realms of your life that you feel are taboo, or that you feel spirituality has no business being, like your sexuality. Being grateful for parts of yourself that you have deemed unacceptable, that you have deemed lost in shadows, that you have deemed not of the light. When you find something to be grateful for in them, it automatically starts to shift your energy and your thoughts around it. It helps you find love in that experience, and love is the great solvent. Love is what changes base metal into gold. You are all made in perfection. Your perceived imperfections are just pieces of your texture. They are part of the quality that makes you who and what you are. None of you looks at a painting and goes, "Oh, that texture is terrible." Some of you might, but for every person that says, "Oh, that looks terrible," there will be someone who says, "I think it is perfect. It fits exactly what I am seeing and what I need in this moment." It is important for you to trust that who you are and what you are, shadows and all, you are something that is important for you to be exactly who and what you are in this moment. Be grateful for that. Be grateful for what you're ashamed of. Shine your light on it. Even if it's being grateful for the lessons that have come from your experiences, find the value in it. And it is acceptable to hold on to the lessons, to hold on to the knowledge, to hold on to the information and let the pain go.
It's beautiful there. I love this part on gratitude and sexuality, is it is this huge aspect where we do, in a spiritual context, always talk about gratitude. And actually, I have even opportunity myself to, I say all the time, thank you for this, thank you, universe. And I step into that. But when it comes to sexuality too, I definitely have opportunity and room to grow in those frequencies, and not necessarily those frequencies, but words validating really the frequencies that I'm embodying, and really being able to move and groove more in that space, or at least seeing that come in, being able to validate my experience in that frequency. So I love that came in, and there were a lot of other things too that really resonated. So beautiful.
I've never thought of it that way. I didn't realize I kind of put a barrier in between the two. And just, yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is just be grateful for your bodies as they are. Because I know so many women that it's almost like a bonding experience to talk about your fat, to talk about how I'm going to have that surgery, or I want to have this done, or I've lost this much weight. Whole like 30-minute conversations just around criticizing themselves. And they're so happy and cheerful about it. Like, this is totally normal and this is the way it should be. And it's like, just be grateful for your cellulite. Be grateful for the varicose veins. I've started to look at my varicose veins, and it's like, I've spent a lot of hours on my feet taking care of people and helping people, and it's showing up in my body in certain ways. I'm like, be grateful. I'm showing, it reminds me, instead of looking at it and going, oh my gosh, what can I do about these? Or I don't want anyone to see them. It's like, these are working legs. These legs have worked hard. I mean, I've stood much besides a lot of sick people's beds, and I'm proud. I'm proud to have them where they are.
Exactly. Oh, dropping in. And we never know what's going to come up too in these. And so there were a couple that I queued in as far as questions. So this is something that I queued in on this side. And if you're joining, feel free to drop in your questions. But yeah, it's funny. This had popped out to me. So how can someone develop a healthier relationship with their own body and desire? And even before I remembered, I mean, obviously that I had picked that one, but that's what part of what stood out from what you said. And I believe that this is a huge topic when you look at how does this connect into sexuality, right? If we feel good and confident in our body, we can be more present. If we're in the moment in a space, in whether we're with a partner or not, and we're in our head about how we look, what are we not doing? We're not present. And if we're not present, right, how is that experience really going to unfold? It's going to unfold. It may not unfold how we want it to, because ultimately we're not really there. We're like, oh my gosh, if, if you're on top or whatever, like, oh my gosh, like this roll right here, that does not look good. And I can tell you some of the things that I have done that has really helped me in my body is mirror work. I do talk about this a lot, me. And to describe that or talk about that is, there's just plainly a mirror in front, and I do it many times whether I'm naked or not, and I'll look at all the things. When I first started doing this and I started looking from head to toe, everything, you kind of you're like, ooh, I don't know. Even though I'm trying to say I love this, I would feel uncomfortable. What I would do is I would lean into that. I wouldn't just keep going. I would just kind of sit with that and feel that move through me. Whether I felt, ooh, that's yucky feeling, I would just kind of sit with it and feel it, and then eventually move into love. And it takes practice, because this is decades of even watching content where there's like, this is like the body that you should be, conforming to, or whatever out there in the media.
Mhm.
And it helps. It really does. I actually dropped a lot of weight when I was doing that kind of work.
And that makes sense to me, because this is the other thing I have learned. It's easy to hide behind that stuff. If I am so busy picking at myself and what I've got going on with my body, it's a great excuse not to put myself out there in other ways.
Yeah.
Not to not look at my sexuality because I'm too busy focusing on picking at my hips or my belly or anything like that. It's a way to hide. So it's like, it is so much more rewarding for me when I just start throwing love at stuff and just watch it shift. Like, how do I describe this? It's hard for me to describe the shift of that loving acceptance where I look at something and go, okay, today's the day. Today is the day that cellulite or stretch marks or whatever, it is what it is. And I love it for what it is. And I will take it as it is. And it releases all of this energy that I didn't realize I had wrapped up in that. It takes so much energy to hold on to that stuff and to keep it there and to keep those thoughts in there. It takes up a lot of brain space.
The mental energy. And when we talk about sexuality, there's a huge connection to energy. I mean, energy is everything. Everything is energy. Our mind, what we're thinking, thoughts are energy. So if we're thinking about this thing here, that is energy over there. That's power over there. And when we're in that moment, that's connected into our sexual energy and how we're channeling this creative energy and where we're moving and grooving from. I don't know why I keep saying moving and grooving, but it's a moving and grooving process. So I think it's beautiful. I think it is. Yeah. What would you, when you're looking at this question, what some advice, what some things coming in, what suggestions on developing a healthier relationship with own body and desire, either or both?
What I'm being shown is, this is something we actually talked about today on our podcast. They showed me an image of all these people with all these different bodies, and they were just showing them to me in a row, and how it was the uniqueness of each body that made it beautiful, and how each body, the way it was shaped, the way it was, brought in a certain quality of energy. And that quality of energy was beautiful. And it was important that it was unique to each person, and that each person's energy it was so important for it to be what it was, to be the uniqueness that it was. And there's this feeling of love and perfection around it. And almost like a duh moment. Like, look, do you see the perfection of this? The perfection is all that you're perceiving as imperfection. The perfection is the differences. It's the differences that we need. It's the differences that make this experience worth having. So it was this celebration of differences. So for me, it's being grateful and celebrating my differences. It really is about being grateful. It's finding something to be grateful for in my body. Like when I started appreciating like my varicose veins, or stuff that I normally wouldn't love. And again, when I start asking questions about things like that, like things with my body or something about me that's making me feel less than, and I'll meditate on it, and they'll jokingly say often, like, you know what the answer, what's the answer to everything? And love is always the answer. I'm like, okay, how can I love this? Gratitude is the easiest way for me to love something. I can find purpose in anything. Varicose veins, I stood a lot and helped people. My hands are starting to get wrinkly. My cuticles are really wrung out. And I'm like, these are beautiful working hands. These hands serve well. Not only do they serve well, they've held up through, my 40 some odd years of life. And this is the interesting thing. The more I do that, I will catch my hands moving in the mirror without thinking about it. And I will just stop and go, oh my God, that was beautiful. That was really pretty. Or this morning I was wriggling out of my shirt. I was trying on different outfits for the podcast. I'm like, do I want to wear this? I was kind of stuck in this new shirt and I was wriggling out of it. And I saw myself in the mirror and I went, oh my God, that was beautiful how my body just moved to get out of that shirt. And so it just starts to shift things. Being grateful for stuff just starts to shift the way we process information about ourselves. I don't know how else to describe it. It's not a totally conscious thing. It just starts to shift things. How about you? Like, what would you recommend? Like, there's the mirror work. Is there anything else you would recommend?
Yeah. So when I'm looking at a healthy relationship with body, there was one thing coming in before when you were talking, and I kept hearing visibility. I've done a lot of work around this. Now, ultimately, what is the mirror work, right? It is literally visibly seeing yourself, right? So getting in a little bit deeper, this concept is getting in deeper. And when we look at visibility and we look at, for me, I can just share my experience with the being visible meant unsafe. And I believe that a lot of people have gone through things where being visible was unsafe in some manner, right? Whatever it was, family, society, culture, feeling these pieces. And usually it starts when there's something that happens when we're younger. So being visible and looking, when I say, hey, we're looking in the mirror, and it's like, oh, I get uncomfortable, right? And literally having my body being visible, even to myself or to a partner, it's all about, oh, am I safe, right? So getting into the root of safety and dropping into safety ultimately, so that I can be free to actually be visible to myself or to someone else. And so getting in deeper to the why of that, I mean, that's my experience. Everyone's different. It's coming in for a reason though, because it is a huge part. Visibility impacts everyone to different degrees. And ultimately our body is the physical form. It's not our identity, but is a physical material item that other people do see.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean that it is like that this is the identity, but it is something that's out there. And so it has potential to be projected upon. And one of the things that I hear, or I've been hearing recently, is that there's an illusion of being visible, or what people see as visibility, because ultimately I am projecting my feelings and my perspectives onto someone else, right? Until I step into presence and I step into, hey, this is my shit. I get out of my way and I truly see them. So there's an illusion there. And ultimately it comes down to, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. They're probably in their own journey. Right? They're on their own journey. So love myself, because this is the body that I have. This is it.
What other people think, I'm gonna talk about it from this perspective. I remember walking into Walmart one day, and we've all talked about Walmartians on social media and stuff. And there was a very heavy girl. She was in a dress that was basically a t-shirt. It was like barely covering anything. And she had fishnets on and heels and a lot of makeup and green hair. And I just remember looking at her and going, what the fuck? And I stopped myself because that's a flag for me. I'm like, oh, I just shifted into judgment really fast on someone. I'm like, that has nothing to do with her. That has everything to do with me. So I kind of pulled over into the condiments aisle and took a minute and tuned in and went, so what's going on with me? Because she's just being herself. She's being totally herself. And I went, that takes so much guts. I would never, ever walk into a store like that. And I went, do I want to? There's something about her walking into such a public place without regret, without thought, without giving a high, holy fuck what anyone else thinks. And I went, that's it. That's what this is. Yeah. I was hiding. And so I stopped and I went, okay, had nothing to do with her. My opinion had nothing to do with her at all. It was my own play, my own stage, and she was just a character in my drama. So being on the other side of that, if somebody's dumping their stuff on me, I just go, that has nothing to do with me. They can try, they can be like, oh, you caused, or this is because of you, or I think, or it's like, it has nothing to do with me. It's like, I hope you have a better day, but I'm just a character in your drama.
Yeah, exactly. So when you get deeper into that aspect there and you let that go, that's the beauty. That's if anyone sees another person other than beauty and love, beautiful and love, obviously there's other words, but there's just the words coming in is there's just love. That's it. There's just love. So everything else is there. All these other things are projections, and that's not mind, right? And see that person through love and that they're on their journey. So being able to come back in, right, and drop it into this is ultimately we've received all these projections our entire life. And when it comes down to it, it's like, it doesn't matter what someone says is the perfect body or how they speak to you about your body. That's all them. So that's really getting into me. I always like to get to the root. So it's like, right, where is the piece here with visibility, and why is it that I feel unable to truly see myself? Comes back to me seeing myself. Yeah. So yes, we get in deeper. That's what I think.
Yeah. If anyone should see myself as beautiful, it should be me.
Yeah.
Anyone else thinks really doesn't matter. It's all about me. It's all about me and what I think. I am my own jailer, my own torturer, my own savior. You know, my mind is what creates my boundaries and limits. So it's up to me. And so I better love myself.
Yeah.
Anybody should be loving me. It should be me. Right?
Yes, exactly. Yes. I love it. It's such a beautiful question. And so I know we dropped into a couple of different things there, but it's an important piece, and that drops into me showing up for me in my sexuality, and it has nothing to do with anyone else. So yeah, love it, love it, love it. And just a reminder, if you're tuning in, you're coming in and out here, guys, hit that like button. Feel free to drop in a question here for you. I don't see anything in the chat here, so I dropped another question up here. If you're in the mood for another question.
Of course. I'm always in the mood for another question.
Let's see what comes in for this, but it's going into a different direction here, which is beautiful. What role does communication play in sacred sexuality?
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
stuff's coming in.
Yeah, I feel that. I'll take a sip here.
The quality of your communication in your relationships, in your sexuality, sets the tone and the stage and the quality of the relationship that you choose to have. It is the quality of you expressing your authentic self, your authentic desires, and how much of yourself you're willing to show that determines the honesty, the forthrightness, and the connection of the relationship. For example, if you are in romantic relationship with someone and you are unwilling to share your hurts and fears as well as your triumphs, if you project that all is well when things are not well, in order to not rock the boat, to keep things as a status quo, your relationship quality will not be authentic. It will not be honest. And that will shine through in different ways. You cannot hide in relationship. It does not work. So the quality of your relationship depends on the quality of the amount of information about your personal self and what you truly feel and think. Oh, that's interesting.
That is. I love it. I always love what we get in different ways, and there is something coming in for me about vulnerability and communication, how some of the things that you were saying, and what was coming in, I kept hearing vulnerability, right? The authenticity, or the being authentic in a space, connects into all the things that I share, and dropping into what I hear as being vulnerable, being, if there is fear coming in, and when we resist communicating those things, that impacts us in all areas of life. Now, of course, we're talking about, there is an aspect, we're tuning into sacred sexuality, and if we're not dropping in and sharing a fear, there's most likely a way that it is going to still come up. It is not like I have the fear and then it's ripped out of me during, intentional sacred time with someone else. It's not just bam. It doesn't work like that. So if we're shoving it down, we move it to a different state. Instead of being conscious about it, now we're unconscious, and it's going to drive us in some way. That fear is going to somehow, there's going to be some thoughts that come in and we're not going to be present. And the connection is not really going to be as authentic, really, right? I'm seeing this visual of like a cord from my heart to a partner, and the cord just wiggling. And it's like, I don't know if it's going to make it over to the other person's heart. It's like zigzagging back and forth. And so this dropping into being vulnerable sets this container of safetiness and a space to pause if I need to, and be, and allow that other person to share what may be on their heart too, as well. And you'd be surprised, and I'm saying this is just coming in about, but there is a big surprise to when we are vulnerable, how much that it's really received. It's more, we're in our own head and projecting on it not being received, because there may have been a lot of situations in the past where it hasn't been. And so if you're really with a partner that is in that same space, it will be received. And if it's not, that's the boundary, that is the opportunity to shift out of that connection and find something that's matching our authenticity. But it's a beautiful journey in communication. It is something to be bold and vulnerable about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing about communication, we were talking about this today too. My sexual experience and my sexual happiness are not dependent upon my partner. They are dependent upon me. It
Yes.
is it is my job to understand how my body works and what feels good and what doesn't feel good, because no one else can determine that for me. And no one else can know it about me unless I share it, unless I communicate it. Or if it doesn't feel good, if I don't share it and communicate it, it's not my partner's fault that they keep doing it or that there's misunderstanding. Communication, even when we do talk, there's so much room for misunderstanding. And I think what's really important is closed loop communication. So some people call that active listening as well. So I learned it in nursing school. So if there's a code or an emergency that's going on, we've all watched Grey's Anatomy. Shit's going down. People are yelling and are moving fast and stuff's flying everywhere, and you grab the cart. There's so much room for error in that craziness. So one person's in charge. They are the person that is running the whole thing. And when they give a command or a recommendation, an order, like push, 2 cc's of epinephrine, the person who's in charge in that repeats it back. I am pushing 2 cc's of epinephrine, so that there's no misunderstanding, because that person, the person who gave the order, then hears me repeating it back. And sometimes in the heat of the moment, it's, oh, no, that's not what I meant. Push 20 cc's of epinephrine. It gives time for clarification. And when you repeat back to the person what you think you heard, it helps them understand how we're receiving it. For example, this is another example nursing taught me. I do a lot of teaching. I did a lot of teaching, especially in a children's hospital, about, taking our patient home, taking your kid home after surgery. Go through all the instructions with the family. I think I have done it crystal clear. And closed loop communication. Will you please repeat back to me what I just told you to make sure that that we understand each other? Oh my gosh, some of the stuff that came out of their mouths. And I'm like, nope, let's try this again. It totally different. They did not hear what was coming out of my mouth. And we're people, especially in, again, the heat of the moment. The heat of the moment with sex, the heat of the moment in those situations was stress, physical exhaustion. The heat of the moment in sex is, blood going to everywhere except where our brain is. So it's that communication, repeating things back to people. And that sounds so unromantic, but there's a way to do it. You can say, oh, please touch me there. And the person repeating it back, a way to repeat it back, please, can you just, rub the inside of my thighs, just like that. And it can be like, oh, so you want me to rub you like this? You're confirming. And that's not, you can make it as sexy as you want, but it's that give and take. Yes. Okay. Like that. No, like this,
And oh my gosh. And I love that. I love the examples. And by the way, I have not seen Grey's Anatomy.
Oh.
When you go, everyone, I just know that's not the only thing I took away from what you said. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I haven't seen it, but so thank you for sharing. It's so true in the space of being the heat of the moment. And how do we continue to create a container of, I always bring safety into it, because when we are feeling safe, then that sexual experience unfolds in just magical, beautiful ways. If we're not feeling safe, then our body doesn't move, in it may be more still. We may fall into fight or flight, and it's not necessarily like someone else is trying to do it, right? But it's a trigger is coming up. And so it's really for me to communicate if there isn't, I'm being activated or triggered by something, because someone doesn't know what I've been through unless I communicate this specifically. I'm not a mind reader though. Telepathy, yeah.
Hey, that's still communication.
It is still
no communication. Communication has to happen. If you can do it telepathically, kudos to you. Roll with it.
But
coming up more, actually, but it's still communication. You still have to communicate.
It's still really, it's still really important. So it's huge. It is huge. And love it, love it, love it here. So you guys are tuning in, driving in here to us. We'll drop in. I don't see anything else in the chat here. So feel free to drop anything in. I see some just curious people here tonight, which is all good.
We're answering their questions. I am not joking when I say people's guides come in and that spirit is like setting this whole darn thing up before we even get started.
Yeah. And the funny thing too is that people watch this when it's not live, and it doesn't matter. The team is still, there's no linear time. It's so true. There's no such thing as linear time. Yes, we have meetings, we have this and that, but ultimately those who operate at higher dimensional spaces and spirit and our higher selves, they already know what we're doing, and they have showed up and have communicated what topics or what things to kind of come in about. So even people watching it later, this is for you. If it resonates, and then whatever doesn't, you just throw it over there. You just don't take it. So we got another question here for you or for us and for all that is. What does true consent feel like energetically, not just verbally?
Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to ask. Do you have anything coming in? I've been talking a lot tonight.
Yeah, I know. I've been talking too. I had to drink some water over here. Some water, my New York accent.
Water.
I don't usually have that, but I felt like bringing it back. Oh, okay?
Yeah, they're coming in.
Okay, do it. Drop it in. I just got hot in here.
Yeah. So what does true consent feel like? Verbally, not just verbally, but also energetically. True consent feels like hope, peace, trust, and safety. Your body is your energetic tuning fork. It is the tool that you have been given to experience and create in this life. It is excellent at picking up on energy. When you feel at peace, when you feel content, when you feel flow, that is when you know that you are energetically present, that you are energetically content. You feel it in your body. What about the other person? How do you know when someone else is giving you energetic consent as well as verbal consent? Again, we ask you to stop and feel your body. When someone is saying yes, but they really mean no, or they are saying no when they really mean yes, you will feel it in your person. It is very disruptive. It is very disconcerting when someone is saying one thing, but their energy is saying something else. Look for discomfort in your own body, especially when you tune into yourself first and you understand what your body feels like when you're just focusing on yourself. Do you feel tension and anxiety of your own? Do you feel totally at peace? Do you feel your body is stressed or tired? Take it all in and then shift your focus to your partner and see if it shifts and changes as you pick up on their energy. That is a good way to understand and feel someone else's energy and help understand what's going on with them. But as always, whatever information you find, if there is ever any doubt, it is important to communicate, to verbalize, to keep doing so until you understand between the both of you, until there is clarity. And again, tune into bodies. When there is clarity, you will feel it settle out through your nervous system. You will feel it settle out through your body, down through your legs and down into the earth. Your body is the tuning fork, friends. It's time to use it and use it consciously. You can sense energy. All of you can sense energy. And now more than ever, those senses are ramping up. Use them copiously, and use them wisely, and use them in great joy. Ooh. That was Archangel Michael, by the way. Jumped in.
Popped in. So, hello, how are you, my dear? Gosh, beautiful, beautiful. And there was a lot of energy in my crown chakra area, and that connection in. And for me, what was coming in was more of like an experience or a tool, and in just ways that we can intentionally tune into someone's energy in this space, in this, with a sexual expression. So the vision that was coming into me was sitting with your partner or partners, and sitting in that space where you begin to ground in the energy. And this means knowing that you are connected to the earth, feeling your body in this space, feeling your body connected to the floor or laying on the ground, whatever position that may be. What I am visually seeing is actually sitting up position. And I'm starting to see, or what I'm being shown is connecting and even soft eye gazing. And that's just an opportunity to slow down after maybe a long day, maybe not, but potentially a long day. Be present and start to see and witness the divine God or goddess within you and then within that person, and slow down in that connection. And when we start to just step into that space, we become more present, and we start to tune in and feel that energy cycle between us and them. And then I also see just one other quick layer on here where there can even be a hand on heart, where your hand on their heart and their hand on your heart, and you can cover your hand on top if you want. But I do see tuning into their energy field and being able to feel the presence of their heart literally beating, and feeling that on your hand, and just being present with them and their body and their self and their energy. And that's how we can really start to be in sync, or more understanding with someone else's energy. We talk about true consent and feel that energetically, and you covered that so beautifully. So it was more of like, hey, how do we continue that and really sit in that energy and understand it from a different level and an experience? And so this is what's come in. And this is not just coming in. I have done this myself many, many times. And it really helps to be able to then see what someone feels like, where you start to sync your breath up with them. And you're basically co-regulating, which is really coming back into sync with each other, and then also dropping more into presence. And if there's any hyper vigilance, the breath brings us, grounds us back in. And then we know what that person is like when maybe they are hypervigilant, right? And we know what they're like at a peace state. And so when we see the body and their energy shift in the middle of other things, we can understand and be more attuned and say, hey, you know what? Let's take a minute. How are you move through that? But that's really the layer coming in here. Yeah. It's beautiful.
I love how you said slowing down. I think spot
Slowing
on,
down.
110%. If people when they ask about, well, how can I get, tune up my psychic senses more? I want to sense energy more. I want to be a better medium. The answer, always slow down. You need to go get quiet. You need to go be with yourself. You need to take more time alone. You need to slow down. If I am having a hard time hearing messages, picking up on energy, it's not because my guides have left. It's because I am in the pig pen cloud of disruption. And I've just got to slow down so that the dust will settle. And they're like, we've been right here. Now you can hear us.
Yes.
Those moments are when I'm my own worst enemy. That's why meditation, people talk about meditation. It's not some magic discipline that you have to do. It's not that so you're a more disciplined person so that you can hear God or hear whatever. It's just so you'll slow the fuck down so that you're not being a bullet train blowing past your inner guidance. It's like, just slow down for 5 minutes so we can talk to you.
Oh gosh, 100%. I'm there with you. Yeah. Okay, so I pulled up a question here we got. And so it's, how can we deal with feelings of loneliness, sexual frustration, or feeling starved for another person? Is it, like we're feeling lonely. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, or just starved for touch. Just touches. Just touch, period.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the question. You're already diving in there. Like the one thing that's really important to me is touch. And I say important because I came from a space where I was in a long-term relationship and I did not like to be touched. And it was just the physical trauma that I had not resolved. So now when I moved into the space of, I now love being touched, but that does come from feeling my own body and feeling those subtle pleasures and then eventually long pleasures from actually touching myself and all over, hands, arms, behind the ears, all the places, the heart, the chest, and moving into state of pleasure with oneself, understanding, or actually not even just understanding, but being curious about what touch feels good. And so this way I can say from my own experience, I have to teach someone where I like to be touched. And that comes with I've learned it, but now I can just move through touch so quickly on my own. And it brings on these strong energies and this pleasure. So that's my piece for that there. And there's a couple other pieces here, but I don't know if you have anything coming through.
So I got guided to bust out the cards, so I'm pulling cards.
Pull out the cards, bust them out, baby.
Pulling cards.
Pulling the cards.
You are your own greatest healer. So those moments are about getting right with yourself. And what I mean about getting right with yourself, what's coming through, is understanding what you need. Really getting clear about what you need and what you want, and taking the time to look at it and decide what that is, and then look at what is between me and that. What is in the way of this? When we just look at that stuff and really dive into it, it helps us understand what's in our way. For example, writing about, I'm trying to think of an example of my own self. When I have been writing about what I want, for example, like there was a time I just desperately like wanted a husband and kids. And I would be writing about it. And in the act of writing about it, I would start talking about how I felt about certain things, how I felt about relationships around me or other people's marriages. And in that moment, me looking at what I wanted and deciding, I looked at what I was talking about and writing about and going, God, I'm I'm terrified because of, so-and-so's marriage imploded. I'm terrified about reaching out for that because of this. It helped me see where I was limiting myself. The first card that came up is Mystic Healer. And you are your own best healer. We're also our own best jailers. Healing energy flows through you. And fogged in. Go slow, take time, be patient. It's about being patient with ourselves. And for fuck's sakes, it's about being loving with ourselves. One of my biggest challenges or bulwarks between me and other people, one of my biggest walls was perfectionism. It's that I am not going to reach out because I am not enough. I know they won't want me. They won't look at me. I am not enough because I am not XYZ. And I'm not going to put myself out there until I look like this and I have this and I can do this. When Spirit's just like, well, okay, but if you want, I can give it to you right now. But if you're really set on it being XYZ, then okay, then this, the universe says yes to you. We'll do it your way. Well, by my standards, well, no shit. I'm never going to get out there. I'm never going to be that perfect. I had to just let go and be like, screw it. I'm diving in. I'm just going to go for it. But that takes compassion. And it took going slow and figuring out what I needed and what I was willing to do, and the baby steps that it took for me, so that I wouldn't scare myself into like total retreat, love and patience and understanding who and what I was. Vast vistas, expand your horizons. It's after figuring out, this is honestly, if I can't admit it to anyone else, this is what I really want. And it's taken me a while to figure it out, and I'm patient about it. And now that I know what it is, and I know what in me is standing between me and that, I'm willing to put myself out there. And it may be I have to go ask for help. I may need a counselor. I may need a support group. I may need to go to Jenna's house and have a drink and just chill and talk to her about it. But it's about taking the steps, baby steps, on bringing it to yourself, on not allowing ourselves to be our own jailers anymore. Oof. And a voyage of the heart. This is where the good stuff is. It's the loneliness, sexual frustration, and being touch-starved. Those are all flags saying, look here, please pay attention. This is where the good stuff is. It is in getting in touch with this and deciding what you want, and then just taking baby steps, tiny baby steps toward it and moving toward it. That is when life gets really fucking good. It's where it's at. Those things are unmined treasure. And one of the things for me, touch is a big deal to me. And I'm also very particular about who and what I allow into my energy and who I want touching me. I go get massages. I go do yoga. I will roll around on the ground. I will touch myself. I will touch myself in ways, but going and getting like massages, vital for me. Absolutely fucking vital. And I know there's cuddle groups out there. We've been to some tantra pujas that you cuddle in big piles. And it's not a sexual thing. You're just cuddling in big piles. Like there are options out there, but this is the deal. A cuddle pile may not work for, Joe. He may be like, nope, that's not going to work for me. I know plenty of people that hate massages. They're like, I don't want some stranger touching me. If it's something like that, well, I don't want a stranger touching me. I need to go make friends. I need to go make some friends. What can I do to go make more friends? It's being willing to step outside the comfort zone of our box, and just baby steps, man, a little bit at a time.
I love that. I don't know, so many good things there, and to add in two other pieces and two other different layers here is there's one thing coming in around the sexual frustration. If you are new to the podcast, there's an episode that came out last week on energy orgasms. Mm-hmm. And so I was hearing to tune into that, and there's a connection in with sexual energy and that orgasmic energy that is, I mean, it's without penetration. We can have the orgasms without a partner in general, but there's something with that was coming in for you. So I would take a look at that, because moving that energy within, you'll be in this blissed out state, and it shifts perspective. It shifts all these things there, and it really channels the energy in a different way. And the other last bit coming in here was about the loneliness here. And what I was hearing was date yourself and fall in love with yourself. And these are things that I don't recommend things unless, if it's coming from spirit or if I've not done myself. And I will say, like, dating myself, falling in love with myself completely shifted the perspective of loneliness to just, okay, I am alone, right? There's a difference in those two. And the loneliness comes in from there are pieces of us that through society we can learn, okay, we need to be with someone to be happy. And so when we fall in love with ourselves and we take ourselves out to dinner or set a dinner at home with candles and music and dance and just be really silly and in it, and maybe it sounds silly, but give it a try. I'm hearing that's coming in for a reason. And you find things too that you will love about yourself that you haven't learned yet. We're like, oh, I didn't know that I love doing this. And guess what happens when you have a partner that comes in that is not in alignment with these new things that you've discovered about yourself? You get to say no and drive the direction a different way. You don't spend time wasting it with someone when you know that these are the things that you really enjoy. So it's helpful added bonuses in many different ways, but definitely date yourself. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps there. Yeah. If you're not subscribed to us, come subscribe. Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. No, I love the date yourself. There's the book. It's called The Artist's Way. It's a great book. It's by Julia Cameron. She calls it going on artist dates. It's to cultivate your creativity, but they're really dates with yourself. And you don't take anybody else. You do it on purpose so that nobody else is raining on your parade, and you have no one else's desires to tune into. You go out and you do things for yourself. You treat yourself, you wish the way other people would treat you, and that shifts things. It creates space. That's one of the things I discovered. It creates space. Taking the time to go with myself on a date, doing something I want to do without anyone else's desires getting in the way. It's me literally carving out a chunk of my life and saying, I'm valuable enough for my own pleasure, and I'm going to go do this and enjoy this with myself. And it's going to be good. That's the equivalent of clearing out space in your closet so that something new can come in, so that something else can fit. So it shifts things. These little things shift things and allow other things to come to us. That's been my experience.
Shifting the frequency of where we're at. So if we are feeling in a state of like, not saying that this is you, but I was hearing like if we're feeling sad or lonely or whatever that is, when we shift our vibrational state, everything is energy. And when we shift the state, we then attract that in, right? If we're out having a good time, even if we're by ourselves, you'll notice that people will want to join in, right? Whether you decide to let them join in it is another thing, but that's where the frequency of that comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's an interesting piece there. So
and I have to, I love that. Clutter is bad for the soul. Amen. Yes. I also wanted to just put in there, if going out like that alone is not something you're used to doing, or if you're in a place where nothing sounds good, where everything just feels gray. I mean, the depression thing, I totally get it. Go do it anyway. It's a statement to the universe. Go do it anyway. Be like, you know what? I think I want to go see this movie. I'm just going to go do it. I'm going to go give myself the space to go do that. I'm going to sit with my blankie in the back of the freaking theater and eat popcorn. And I'm just going to give myself that time and space and keep doing it. Even if it's uncomfortable, just keep doing it. It shifts things. It changes things. Even it's a blatant statement. I am giving myself time and space to be with myself. That is a huge, powerful statement of a love and appreciation for yourself to the energy of the universe. And when I say the energy of the universe, I'm not talking about like this airy-fairy nothingness out there. Think of everything being connected by these threads of energy. It's like you are in the middle of your web. And when you do that, you are smacking the web and it vibrates out to the rest of the world. I value myself. I'm taking time for myself. This is who I am. It is powerful. It is a powerful thing to do. And it gets easier with time.
That's beautifully said. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oof. I love it. Love it. Love it. So hopefully that helps there, my dear. And if you guys are just tuning in, hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe, like, share, and come find us on Erotic Spirit Podcast. We right now we're on all the major platforms. If you're looking to watch or even listen, check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that. That has all the latest episodes there. And we had an episode come out today. So, and that one is bringing back the magic, or bringing the magic back into your sex life. So you might want to tune into that too, if that sounds good. And this is a segment, Spirit Guides After Dark, that we do weekly. We do weekly on Thursdays. So come check us out. If you're looking to ask a question, but you don't want to ask in front of everyone, go to our website, eroticspiritpodcast.com, Spirit Guides After Dark. Ask it anonymously. Ask it. It's in that tab that comes in. We'll see that, and we get to tune into those for upcoming weeks. So yeah, and then
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, share. I'd love for you to share about you too. We close it.
Yes. Thank you. And I was just going to say, even if you don't want to ask questions, there is energy and vibration that comes through this. It comes through and it's healing and it just feels good. And all of us watching together, all of us having ourselves here and our guides here, we're all connected. Even though this is like online, that web of energy I talked about that connects all of us, we are sitting together in that energy, in this connection, and you are as much a part of it as we are. The more we gather together, the more love there is, the more energy there is. So even if you're just watching, we're so happy you're here. Just soak it all in. Just soak in the vibes. My website is www.angelashelby.com. If I do readings, I do dream interpretations, I do energy healing. It can be in person or long distance. And no matter, I don't care what it is, it's just inevitable, whether it's a healing, a reading, dream interpretation, whatever, the guides come in. They just do. I'm open to them, and your guides love you, and they just pop in and they always have something to say. They just do. So, yeah, feel free to pop in and check it out.
I love that. I love that, love that. And then here's my info too, myawakeningwithin.com. That's my website. I channel with Source. I do energy healing and work, and I have some retreats and workshops along the West Coast in Arizona and California. So come check that out. Lots of other things. You can always hop on a discovery call if you're unsure. You're like, I don't know, there's something there, but ultimately, just being free, to come join us on these segments and tune into our podcasts. And we have so many fun things coming out for you guys. I'm so excited. Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in today, guys. And feel free to come join us next week.
Yes. Thank
Take
you,
care.
everybody. Have a wonderful night. See you next